Okay, so next. So don't play by her rules. Her emotions, a hurricane. Her soul, a saboteur.
You're only reading part of that. That's the last end of that.
I know. Well, do you know the whole thing?
I do know the whole thing. Yes.
Okay. So explain that one.
Don't play by her rules is really, it comes back down. This is really simple. This is just basically the, women break rules for alphas and they make rules for betas, right? Guys who don't play by women's rules are the message, the psychological message that sends is I'm not going to play by your rules because I know that I don't have to play by your rules because I have a roster of girls who are ready for DTF right now, and I don't have to worry about this. So I'm going to be aloof. I'm not going to say aloof, but I'm just going to be sort of indifferent to your rules because I have, whether I do or I don't is immaterial because I've got like 4 other girls on my phone right now who want to do the same thing that you want to do with me right now. So I'm not going to play along with that. And it also, it comes back to frame as well. So if you're playing by her rules, you're in her frame.
Give me an example of her rules. What are her rules?
Just like doing I think really what Royce was talking about there was sort of playing into her insecurities. Like, do these things to make me feel secure. Do this to make me feel, I don't want to have sex with you until you make me feel secure enough to have sex with you. And that means you've got to take me out to dinner. That means you've got to meet my parents. That means you've got to like puppy dogs and rainbows in Disneyland. And that you have to, it could be anything really. I mean, the rules tend to be, for women in the early stages of just meeting, just not even like a relationship, just like sort of dating kind of thing, those rules are there to as a form of a shit test.
Well, I have an example of that. Test. Yeah, like I had been on like 3 dates with this guy, like 3 months apart, and every time we go on a date, he wasn't my type. But he was such a kind guy and he was low key and like reserved, and I'd blow him off. Like we'd go on a date, I'd make out with him, I'd run away, he'd ask me out again, and I'd just ghost him. And that happened like 3 times over the course of a year. And then whenever I'd see him out, he wasn't bothered by me. He wasn't like, what the fuck, bitch? He would send me and my girlfriend's drinks. He would order me a car, and he was indifferent, like you said. And then eventually, a year later, I ended up dating the guy for like a year. You know what I mean? Because like I'm like, there's something more to this man because he's not going through my tests. He's unbothered by what I'm doing.
Well, there's certain behaviors that manifest from a guy who is more alpha than a guy who's, and I'm using alpha and beta in abstract terms, okay? But a guy who fucks, right? There are certain behaviors that guy manifests that women pick up on, and the guy might be completely unaware of that he's even like, that's just how he is, right? Yeah. But they're like when a guy has more confidence, like women say, I want a guy with confidence. The guy with confidence is the guy who has enjoyed the sexual benefits of other women and has come to the point where he's indifferent about playing games. He's indifferent about playing by your rules. Like I said before, women break rules for alphas and they make rules for betas. And a guy who is in the frame of mind of obeying your rules, that guy's not alpha.
Yeah,
because he would be just simply indifferent to your rules, and therefore you start breaking those rules. Like, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to fuck you tonight. Yeah, right. Yeah, because the unconscious sort of behaviors that guy manifests, women pick up on. Like, only an alpha would do this. Only an alpha would say that because it must mean that he has other girls that are sort of on call, or he's like, I always say this is confidence. Like, people think confidence is some magic, like, woo, pixie dust, cosmic thing. If you listen to like Tony Robbins or the rest of these guys who are like these sort of success gurus, you got to dig down deep into your well of confidence and, walk with pride, stick your chest out, doing Jordan Peterson, make your bed, And it's like, no, confidence doesn't come from just this sort of like mental state. It comes from options. It comes from realizable material fucking options that you generated. You busted your ass to get those options. How many girls do I have on speed dial? How many girls do I have that in my roster or whatever it is? If I'm dating non-exclusively, above the board. If I know that I've got 4 other options, I'm going to manifest behaviors with the 5th option who's sort of like the unproven commodity, I'm going to be way more confident. I'm going to be way more experimental. I'm not going to worry about stepping on your feet. I'm not going to play by your rules. I'm not going to, I'm going to be indifferent to your rules because why would I? It's like,
and that's just innate.
Well, it's like the guy who has, like, if you're going to, the guy who works a 9 to 5 and he says, you know what, Joe down the street is going to hire me for $10,000 more than you're paying me here. And so here's my 2 weeks notice. I'm in a much better position to negotiate that extra 10 grand if I've already got a monkey branching, right? I've already got another branch in hand. I got the Joe down the street who's already offered me a job. And you might not even be trying to negotiate money, but the guy's going to say, okay, tell you what, I'm going to give you $12,000 to keep you here, right? That guy is in a much better position to say, you know what, make that 15, right? Because I've already got this guy. How valuable am I to your operation kind of thing? I'm going to manifest different behaviors and I'm going to be more confident in my negotiations if I already know that I have an option. I got one in the kitty, right? Yeah. And so the more you have in the kitty, you've got, instead of like Joe down the street, I've got 4 other guys down the street who want to offer me X amount of dollars. I'm going to behave differently with the one that is I'm working with at that time. So now put that scenario into the situation of a guy who's with some girl and he already knows that he has 4 girls in the backfield, or maybe he has no girls in the backfield, but he knows that he has generated those options in the past and can do so again in the future. And so therefore that is those are the options, or the having generated those options is what leads to confidence. That's what manifests confident behavior. When guys are like, they're like, I don't know how to be confident with girls. It's because they've never had options to be experimental. Like, well, if I don't tell her this, if I don't tell her I love her on the first date, if I don't,
go steady with her.
Go steady with her. If I don't make her feel comfortable, if I don't spoon with her on the couch, then I don't want to lose her. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I better do what she says, right? Well, that mentality is what's killing your game because you've never had the options in the first place to be cocky, to be funny, to even have the not whether it's organic or it's planned, you just simply won't even engage in those behaviors because you have too much to lose because you don't know when your next meal's coming.
And I think confidence, I mean, for men and women, just comes from having no fear. Like fear is an illusion. And honestly, before I got doxxed, I lived in fear of everyone finding out. And I would say, to myself, I would kill myself if that happened. What happened on the other end of that? I didn't. I had all these revelations of like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to become a sexologist. And once the thing I feared the most happened, my confidence is like, it's just innate now. I think it's this, it's the same for, for men. It's just, you don't fear the loss. You're not living in a deficit, like you said.
Yeah. Once you don't have anything to lose, but like when it comes down to, what was it? Don't play by her rules kind of thing. It comes down to how confident are you to not play by those rules? Because in not doing so, that broadcasts or telegraphs to that girl that you have been rewarded with sex in the past and you will be rewarded with it again in the future. And so therefore you're not going to play along with those rules because again, I might be the guy that the waitress at the bar flirts with that you suddenly find me that much more attractive because other women want to fuck me and other men want to be me. Right. The dynamic is still puts the guy in the position of the one that is like the primary, and that's like women are only going to chase a guy who has a higher value, or who perceptively anyways has a higher value than they do. A lot of guys say, well, that guy's a piece of shit. Why does she look up to him? Kind of thing. Well, perceptually, that's what she sees. It doesn't have to be an actual value. It could be a perceptual value too. So when guys ask me like, well, how come that girl's with that emo guy over there and he's not very he's as masculine as me. He can't bench press 225, like that kind of stuff. But perceptually, that's what she's looking for and that's what she's into. And that guy is the embodiment of that. So it doesn't matter whether, what his deadlift is. It's just like, that's are you right? Yeah, you're right. You're 100% fucking right. But to that girl, the perception is that he's the bomb.
Yeah. So. Yeah.